Hey guys, it's Carrie Lee Smith, and I was sitting here thinking about, what creates happiness and what creates a life that's you're proud of. And I was thinking, it really comes down to a couple things. The average person is really trapped and strangled by their good habits and really actually their bad habits. Habits are creating your happiness in life. Are you experiencing in your life right now long-lasting happiness? Is your life over the last 5 years, are you experiencing more joy and more happiness? And if not, it might be because your bad habits have taken the best of you. Let me give you a quick little story. There was this guy who was an alcoholic, and he had a really hard time putting down his alcohol. So what he did is he went and got help, and then he locked up all of the alcohol in his downstairs cellar, and someone took the key. And after 2 years, he was like, gosh, you know what? I'm pretty much sober. I can now take the key back. He took the key back and he put it in an area in his house where he never visited. And then after a couple months, he's like, you know what? The key's cool. I'm not tempted. I have no temptation at all. So then he took the key in the bedroom and he put the key in his where he has other keys. And it was all good. No problem. But here's the problem. Temptation and bad habits will come back to get you. You're not totally ever unhooked from those bad habits. They're kind of like a book on a bookshelf waiting to get you. After a couple months, he was like, you know what? I love the smell of wine. So what he did was he brought a wine bottle up to his room and he just looked at the wine bottle before he corked it. He just had it there. A few months later, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and cork it so I can smell the wine. Well, you know what's going to happen, right? He ends up pouring himself a glass of wine, and it was okay for a little while, but one glass ended up to be many later, down the road. He became an alcoholic over time. Now, this is the story of many of our bad habits that are creating ill health, that are creating unhappiness. So I ask you to ask yourself, when I'm making a decision, one of the things that I ask myself is this going to create long-lasting happiness for me over the long term? Now, as you guys know, I don't drink very often, but once or twice a year, maybe 3 times with my husband. I'm not a big drinker. And the other night, I was out with my husband, kids were gone, it was super fun, he took me out on a date, and I had a big event the next day. And the time was right, it had been fun to celebrate and to have a glass of wine. And I asked myself, is this going to be able to create long-lasting happiness? And am I going to be able to perform at my utmost best tomorrow? The answer is no. So that gave me power to be able to help myself make better decisions, better health, stronger awareness of consciousness in the moment of what's best for me. And what I want for you is creating happiness in your life. Happiness is really good habits that take over your life over the long term. It takes 5 to 7 years to really get a solid good habit into your life. And I want you to do is today, I want you to look at the habits that you have in your life that are slowly taking you down. And I also want you to look at the habits that are slowly lifting you up. And one of the habits that I'd like for you to adopt is start getting in the habit of asking yourself, is this going to bring me long-lasting happiness over the long term? Because that question that you ask yourself is extremely powerful, and it helps you start creating better choices. Because better choices help you create better choices. And when you start living in the better choice of life, good starts to follow you, happiness starts to build, and long-lasting vibrancy is on the path of where you're going. So I empower you today to start asking yourself, is this going to create long-lasting happiness? I'll see you next week.